Hello and welcome back to the Bleeping Mechanic. Got ourselves another project. Let's get to it. So this project here, this is my 2011 F-150. It's got the 5-liter Coyote motor. Vehicle's got about 225,000 miles. It's been a great truck, can't complain. But the reason why we got it in the shop today is, I should say the garage today, is this right here. So the other day, been driving it and noticed, just kind of feels a little sluggish, I guess. Kind of noticed the pull just doesn't seem to be there anymore. When I would let off the gas, the vehicle would start slowing down. I would consider it more quickly than what it should be rolling. But what I think is going on, and my suspicion, is this right rear. What I did is on the way home yesterday, driving back, I decided as soon as I come in, I'm gonna grab my temperature thermometer, my little laser thermometer, and measure all the wheel temps at the rotor right at the top. And what I did is I went ahead and I started at the driver rear, took pictures. So driver rear, 173 at the driver rear, 232 at the driver front, 240 at the passenger front, 274 at the passenger rear. The passenger side is about 100 degrees hotter than the driver's side. And if you know brakes, on most of these vehicles, it's about an 80-20 split. So most of your braking is done on the front wheels. And if the fronts are actually cooler than this rear, that means this one's holding. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna dive into this tire, start tearing it apart, and see what we find. So the first thing we're gonna do is go ahead and pop the tire off. 21 mil socket. Not noticing anything offhand. I'll grab a light. So looking at the pads look fine. Not seeing any irregular wear. They both have about the same amount of pads still left on there. And the rotors were replaced not too long ago. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and check and see if these slides are moving. All right, first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna see if I can get this to move at all. Not a lot of movement in there. A little bit more on this side. So all I'm doing is pushing slightly against the metal of the pad to pull and try to compress that caliper a little bit. So let's go ahead and pull these pins out and get that caliper off. Now when you're taking this off, this dampener right here will get in the way and won't come all the way back and hits right about here. Okay, so it is 10 mil. Okay, that's a good sign. As you see, the bottom one comes out. The top one hits here, but that won't hurt us because we'll still be able to get this off. All right, so here's the moment of truth. Like I said, I think the inside, as they got it off more, definitely tell that the inside has a lot more removed. Not a lot, but there's definitely more pad on the outside than the inside. And what that's usually indicative of is that the caliper isn't sliding and equalizing pressure from the inside to the outside. Because when you're pressing the brake, the hose, hydraulic pressure, pushing on a piston, it's going to push on this inner one against the inner side. And as it does that, these slide pins are supposed to kind of move and create equal force, so this way it pushes, technically pulls, the outside as it's pushing the inside. So let's see how this thing's moving. All right, first one, that's fine. Second one, that's fine. All right, so that wasn't the problem. Those slides are moving just fine. So the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna see how easily we can push this pad back in. And that will tell us more about that lining. First thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull this outer pad. Little tabs in there. Gotta push around. I think that's what was actually holding up, is just those little tabs. Pads look fine. They look like they've been breaking, no heat scorching or nothing like that. Let's see how easy that goes back in. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pop the cap off the oil reservoir. All right, so let's see if this caliper pushes in and how difficult it pushes in. Okay, that is a... Oh man, that's a lot more resistance than I was expecting. I'll come up a little bit so it's not dragging on the inside. Yeah, that is not wanting to push in, so something's holding pretty tight. So I'm gonna go ahead and mount the caliper back up so I can get some torque on this thing. Run these screws in a little bit. So yeah, there's a banjo bolt right here on the back, banjo bolt right here, and then we have underneath here basically connection on the brake line itself, or on the hose, and then a 7/16 on the brake line that we will then unscrew. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this banjo bolt, which is a 9/16, or at least a 9/16 fits on it. So line wrenches are just almost fully closed box wrenches with a little slit in it. And what it does is it allows you to get a little more area of coverage. There you go. So you don't strip out the nut. See, that's moving nice and good and free there. It's not sticking on there. All right, I think it's just about out. So I'm gonna go ahead and remove the nut that's holding on the clamp. Ooh, it was on there. Yeah, that's much better. Yeah, that was tight in there. A little rusty. All right. Out with the old. And as you can see right here, brake fluid's pumping out just fine from the front. So let's go ahead and grab our new one. Something. Make sure that goes in there nice and straight. Start screwing it in. new one on. Spray down those threads. Goes in like butter now. Alright. Alright, with the caliper off, we're going to go ahead and replace it now. We got the new brake line on, so the new caliper comes with new banjo bolt and new copper crush. Here's a new caliper, all new hardware already on it, new slide pins. We'll put more additional grease in there. Put our hardware back on. There we go. Got a little plug inside there, we'll pop that out. And that plug is going to be where the line will attach. Go ahead and put this back on here. Move these slides back. There we go. That's in spot. So right now the hose is just dripping away, which is good. Letting some time for that fluid to come through. So let's go ahead and put that new banjo bolt and copper washers on and let it start filling up. All right, so we're going to put the banjo bolt with the copper on this side and then another copper washer on this side. And this is going to go right into, there we go, right here. Go ahead and get that started. Get this nice and snug. Pop this back up. Slide our one pin in. The one that won't go on. Get that one going. Get these nice and snug. What we're going to do next is we're going to remove the bleeder to start letting the fluid fill up the caliper just by natural bleeding. That's a 10 millimeter. Pop this boot off. A little protective boot on the end. Come on, get off there. There you go. Oop. Get off of there. There you go. Little rubber boot just keeps it from getting all full of junk. So we're going to go ahead and let that sit open for a little bit. Just unscrew it a few ways. I'm going to go ahead and pop that reservoir open and make sure it stays full. While we're waiting for this to self-bleed, I'm going to go ahead and tighten this and this up. It's just now starting to drip out. Took only maybe about half a minute. Tighten both these down, just nice and snug. There we go. So this is moving nice and free right now. That's dripping out, so we're going to go ahead and close that. And then we're going to bleed this. So I'm just going to go ahead and give it a close. And let's get some help to start bleeding this. All right, for power bleeding out caliper, what we're going to do is we're going to have somebody pump up the brakes, and then after they pump them up, they're going to hold the brake pedal down. I'm going to crack this open, and a bunch of fluid, and most likely air is going to pop out. We're going to do that several times until the air is no longer there and it's just fluid. So, all right, go ahead and pump it up. All right, she's holding it. So now I'm going to, there goes some air, some water. Or sorry, brake fluid and air came out. All right, go ahead and pump it up. All right, and holding. Lots of fluid, that's good. little bit of air came out. All right, pump it up. All fluid, pump it up. All right, holding. All right, good. All right, we're all set. All right. So we just finished power bleeding. I'm gonna go ahead and put the little rubber cap back on. Take the one off the original because I like it a little better, a little bigger. And I'm just gonna go through and make sure everything's nice and snug. Snug, all right. So everything's nice and greased up. That's still moving nice and free after the brake pedal's been applied, so we're gonna go ahead and put the tire back on. So now we've got a brand new brake line as well as a brand new rear caliper. If you're wondering, I'm running it on setting 1. Setting 1 is I think about 150 foot-pounds, which I think most of these are running right around 125-ish, 115. And obviously longer extension, losing a little bit of power, and I'm not just sitting there cranking it all day long. So the next thing we'll do is we'll go ahead and take this thing for a quick drive. We'll take the little probe, do a few brakes, and we'll check out and see what temperatures we've got. All right, just got back from about a 5-minute drive. Let's see what we got for temps. 170, this is the driver rear. Never had a problem there. That one's already had a new caliper. And let's see, about 270, 280. So about 100 degrees warmer on the front than it is from the rear on the driver's side. Passenger side, 270, about the same. All right, moment of truth. New hose, new caliper. 190. 167. Depending on where I'm hitting. 170, 160. 190, 180. Yeah, that's already a lot better. So that'll wrap it up, guys. That's what we had basically was, I'm going to assume the caliper was actually the issue. But it's a good chance that the lining could have also have had some issues. That was the issue on the other side. So, but yeah, no guys, I appreciate it. Make sure you guys hit that thumbs up and like and subscribe. Really could use the help and get this channel going. Thank you guys, and we'll see you on the next one.